Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Daily IoT. I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Thanks for joining me again. And I've got some disappointing news. I ran out of sunlight on Saturday to finish the soldering of the LEDs on the scooter, so we do not have scooter LEDs yet, but we are very close. I'm going to finish that up. I'm not going to post any more footage. I'm going to consider that project wrapped up as far as the video YouTube channel is concerned, but I will definitely post footage of the LEDs working once I get to that point. We're almost there. Quick update for this week. I'm not going to be able to post a video every single day. I have to travel for work, so I'm just not going to be able to do that. But I've been thinking of ways of making this helpful. Again, this is me documenting my journey to learn as much as I can and get as much experience as I can in Maker Internet of Things. And so I can't promise that every single one of these videos will be interesting. I'm trying not to spend as much time editing and things like that. But I'd like to find ways to break these up into projects. So we just did the scooter project, and I was tossing some other things in there that I was learning. And now we're going to move on to the dryer project. Dryers. We just moved into a house recently and had to buy a new washer and dryer. And my wife and I aren't into fancy, have a screen on your dryer that you can watch TV and have all these options and things. We go for very basic, and so our dryer is so basic that it does not even have a way to turn off the end of cycle buzzer, that loud, annoying that you get at the end of the cycle. No way of turning that off. We have little kids sleeping right next to the laundry room, and so that's something that we've always turned off, but we don't have the option to right now. So I have convinced my wife, after lengthy conversations, to allow me at the dryer to open it up and see if I can disable that buzzer and turn it into an Internet of Things device. I'm thinking the dryer that sends a text to us when the cycle is finished. So that is the next project that we want to tackle on the show here, and I want to learn as much as I can about a couple of different technologies that I want to talk about in just a second. But first of all, I have a gripe. This is my manual for the dryer. This is what I went to very first when I had this idea to see how the buzzer works. These things back in the 80s, when you bought an appliance, there was a schematic in the user manual. If you wanted to look at it and take it apart and change, fix something, you had a schematic that told you how to do that. Not anymore. I don't know if that's just because not enough people are interested in doing it, or I don't know. That's a whole nother episode. So I have no schematic information about how the buzzer works, but what I would like to pull off is, we talked a little bit last week about not reaching for the sledgehammer every time. This is one of those cases where I do not want to reach for a platform, an Arduino, a Photon, a Raspberry Pi. I don't want to stick something on my dryer, in my dryer, that's on all the time. Instead, what I would like to do, and I'm going to research, is find a way, if possible, to use the voltage. I'm guessing, we'll have to open it up to find out. I'm guessing that the buzzer operates off of 12 volts. That's just a guess. We'll confirm that. But I'd like to use the 4-second voltage pulse that the buzzer gets, take the buzzer out of the circuit, and replace it with something that is powered by that 12 volts, assuming it's 12 volts. And so the buzzer itself will be the power source for whatever I come up with to send a text to my wife and I. And so that's the project. Some of the requirements: I would like this to be removable via some sort of switch. Like at any time I'd like to flip a switch or do something and have the buzzer be back in action. My wife has laid the requirement that if I take this apart, I have a 1-hour window to get it put back together if she needs it in an emergency, and so I can't have this thing apart for days. And so we're going to do a lot of testing down here in the office, playing around with technologies, getting it to a point. I'll probably have to open it up to see if that voltage is 12 volts and do some research there, but we're going to play with it down here. I have this little chip, this RFM69CW 400 megahertz transceiver. I'm thinking I might want to try and use this somehow. I have a bunch of these lying around, but I want to figure out some way for when the buzzer happens to start a platform up. When I say platform, start my device up, send a message out saying, I'm the dryer, my cycle's done, and then back to sleep. It's dormant the rest of the time. That is my goal in this project. To do that, I want to look at communication protocols for sending a message like that. I know of MQTT. It's something that I have not ever played with that I'd like to research and possibly play with. I know there are other options that I'd have to look up, but I've never used any of them. And so if you've used anything like MQTT or an alternative to MQTT that you recommend or you think I should check out, please stick it in the comments. I would love to do that and share whatever I learn with you. And so I need to figure out a protocol for that. I need to figure out how to power this thing. If I do something like this, I'll have to have a hub. So there's a bunch of things I want to learn. The service to send a text, probably going to be Twilio. I've used Twilio before, but if you have an alternative to Twilio that you think I should check out and try and report back on, again, stick it in the comments. I'd love to research as much of this as I possibly can. So that's the project. That's what the next several episodes of the show are going to be about. And so that's it. That's all we're going to talk about today. I appreciate everybody watching. I'd like to introduce, I tried this a little bit before, but I got out of the habit of asking a question of the day to get a little bit more interaction. I love hearing from people down in the comments. And so if you're watching and you make it all the way to the end, to this point at the end of the video, first of all, thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot. But second of all, I need you to hit those comments up because I love hearing from people. I love it. And so my question of the day, to hopefully trigger a little bit more of that interaction, is what is your favorite communication protocol that you've used in Internet of Things or electronics? I'm talking about MQTT. If you've used something chip to chip or one device to another device communication, I would love to hear about that. It doesn't have to be wireless, could be wired, and you use some even if it's just serial or I2C, something like that. I would love to hear what is your favorite device-to-device communication protocol that you have used in your personal projects. I appreciate everybody watching Daily IoT, the show where together we're learning how to make the Internet of Things one day at a time.